This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this StockBox interview.
Joining us today is Craig Foster, the CEO, and Jim Strickland, the General Manager for North America, both from Ondo InsurTech. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for your time. Of course, Craig, we speak quite a lot, but it's great to be meeting you today. Jim, heading up, of course, the North American side of things. So welcome to you both. First of all, I'd like to get a bit of a catch-up, if we can. I know you were at the ITC Las Vegas recently. I wonder, Jim, perhaps if you can just tell us what it was like to be there. What was the vibe on the ground, the sort of people you spoke to, the conversations you had, any key takeaways from the event?
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of excitement out at the ITC from many large carriers about what we're doing in the U.S. The fact that we've been able to see the results and show the results to a few initial carrier partners, we've been able that show very compelling results. And we've been able to anonymize those and share those with the industry, and that's just further generating more and more interest in what we're doing with the large carriers in the U.S.
Okay, so you say many large carriers were interested. I'm guessing you can't name them, but I mean, can you sort of give us anything on sort of who these large carriers are? Are they sort of household names?
Some of them might be household names, others might not. There's a lot of insurance companies in the United States that aren't necessarily household names, but have significant amounts of home insurance in their books of business.
Okay, I know one of the key metrics is this addressable household. So, I mean, could you shed any light on how many addressable households this opens up potentially?
We have significant. It's millions of homes in our pipeline.
Millions of homes in the pipeline.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. So these conversations that you were having then with these insurers, and they were genuinely interested in what Ondo have got, of course, with the leak bot and the leak detection system and insurance side of the business there. Were they really quite, would you say they're hot leads to go and follow?
Yeah, I mean, we have a dozen new prospects to put in our pipeline off of what we did at the ITC.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. And just out of interest, was Ting there? I know Ting is similar in a sense to Ondo, in the sense it's arc detection, isn't it? Sort of to prevent shorts and fires in the house. Were they there? Did you get a chance to speak to those guys?
Craig, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So we, Jim and I, we announced that we joined this new think tank headed up by this guy, Matteo Carbone, so called the IoT Observatory. So that was on the first day of the ITC event. So we presented, Mark, next to the guys from Ting. So they presented first. And we were on the agenda as the Ting for water damage, which was, we were taking a little bit of liberty with the title of the presentation. But I think it landed well, even with the guys from Ting, because even they couldn't deny the remarkable similarities between our solution and theirs. It's a small, low-cost device. You send it in the post. Sits there in the background. Theirs is looking for electrical arcs. Ours looking is for water leaks. But they connect you with an electrician, and I think they've been able to, demonstrate a really high net promoter score. As have we. They've been able to demonstrate a return on investment for carriers, and that's why they've got their adoption has really taken off. The difference with Ting is that they're growing, but they were at 100,000 homes in the place that we were at a couple of years ago. They just announced while we were there, on the day that we were with them, that they've hit 1 million homes. And State Farm have announced their ambition to put Ting into 2 million homes.
Right.
So I think their exponential growth has caused a lot of excitement in the industry. And it's also kind of woke up some of the insurers that were kind of sitting on the sidelines a little bit to see, is this really a thing? Is Internet of Things really going to have a material impact on the industry? And the sense that we had at the conference, wasn't it, Jim, is that that's kind of shifted. It's like been 5 years in the making of people testing things. Is it going to make a difference? Is it not? Whereas things have shifted. Even the carriers that we know were kind of just had a bit of a watching brief suddenly are, doing activities, with the solution that I've just mentioned, planning to do stuff, and then also really keen to talk to us. And I think our goal is really to establish ourselves as in the same way as Ting is the only show in town in terms of preventing household fires. Our job in the US is to really establish ourselves as a kind of industry standard solution for the US market. And I think we've really got a good shot of being able to do that.
Well, I think they're a really good comparison to sort of make, aren't they? Because it's effectively very similar, as you say, to what you've got. And they're that little bit ahead of you. So it helps in a lot of ways. I guess there's a lot that you can learn from their model, their perhaps challenges they face along the way. But also, of course, the insurance companies who have got involved, who say the Internet of Things, they've got a bit more confidence. Oh, we've got one here that works for electrical arcs. We'll go down the water route. I mean, are there things you can learn or have learned indeed from the Ting model?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, we actually spent quite a few hours with the guys over a few beers, and we were kind of, comparing notes on the challenges that we face, and it was really interesting, Jim, wasn't it? Just quite how similar the two businesses are, and I think it is a genuine two-way respect as well. That we clearly know what we're talking about as well when we discuss things with those guys. But I mean, you've sold into this industry in the US for a long time, Jim, haven't you? And you've seen the way carriers adopt these technologies, and they do tend to do things kind of en masse. When one goes in a big way, they do all tend to go like dominoes. So, I think you're quite excited, Jim, aren't you, about the point in time that we're at right now and what lies ahead?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the response from big carrier partners, both prospects and existing customers. I mean, in reality, we don't have a single partner that has been brought on since I joined the organization that's not actively expanding into more states and more homes as we speak. And that speaks volume. It's always easy to get the first couple of carrier partners to go down the path with you to test something and see if it works. The much more difficult thing is to get that second order. Now they know you, they've had experience with the product, they see how their customers react, and the positive response is overwhelming, both from homeowners and from what our insurance carrier partners see, and that's what's driving rapid expansion. That doesn't happen if you haven't captured lightning in a bottle, and I believe that from a LeakBot perspective, we've captured lightning in a bottle as it relates to water leaks in homes and insurance companies.
Okay. Excellent. Well, that's good to hear that, Jim. And of course, you mentioned earlier that there's potential for sort of millions of these addressable households to open up to Ondo and, of course, the LeakBot product. And I'm guessing then this is following on from the news that was announced this week about the factory capacity increase in anticipation of US demand. And I think it's a 4x increase, isn't it? You're going from 10,000 units per annum to 40,000 as the discussions with a number of these US insurance companies are now at an advanced stage. I mean, Jim, first of all, I'll come to you. Your job is to build out that North American business. I mean, how are those negotiations going? When would you hope to get some closed? I won't tie you to dates, but if you can give an idea of what you would be hoping in your mind to start closing some of these deals so they can be announced to the market.
My hope is we'll be making some significant announcements between now and the end of the year.
Excellent. I like that. Good short answer. I like that. That's good. Craig, I'll give the final word to you. How are you feeling? I mean, upscaling the factory here in the UK and things looking quite promising in the US.
Yeah, I mean, one thing investors always ask about is are we going to hit kind of headroom on production capacity? So it's really good to take that off the table as something that investors are worrying about. It's really good that we managed to do that in the UK because we didn't initially think that we could do that. So, like I said in the release on Monday, now is definitely the right time to do it. And I think the announcements that Jim's talking about are going to clearly demonstrate why now is the time. Like the announcement said, I think there's significant expansions with existing partners that we're at late stage negotiations on, as well as some really interesting new partnerships that we'll be able to announce in the not too distant future. So I think once we get those out the door, it'll be clear why now's the right time to do it. So we're very much looking forward to revealing the news.
Excellent. Well, thank you both very much for your time today. Jim Strickland, the General Manager for North America, and of course, Craig Foster, the CEO of Ondo InsurTech.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.